Ooh, today's video is dedicated to INTJs. I have very few of them in my life. There's one that is in his 60s that I kind of stumbled upon at in Quora. I just woke up and I think this lighting is a little all over the place. Very sensitive to light. And my INTJ buddy from Writers Cafe, it's been over a decade, I think. And then I discovered earlier this year that my coworker, she's an INTJ. She's been such a great mentor to me. I'm not gonna get sappy. I'm not gonna do it. But just one little small memory for later. I had someone come and give me an estimate for a new roof, and he was very thorough. He was lovely and honest. He didn't push. I was getting this feeling that I needed to take care of that before the winter comes. I'm not in a hurry, but I've been through so much in this house that I'd rather avoid something disastrous if I can help it. I had to insert this after watching everything. I forgot to mention what I wanted to mention was when everything was signed off to go ahead and continue with the project, and he was about to leave. I asked him what scent he wore because it was extraordinarily familiar, and I just don't know where the scent comes from because I remember the scent, and it was just Jean Paul Gaultier, the blue bottle. That was what my ex-husband used to wear. That was what I wanted to capture. And the music in the background is Archangel Michael protects and destroys all dark energy, deep sleep healing. And as I was waiting for this person, because I had an appointment with him, as I was waiting for this person, I slept so well in 45 minutes that when I got up, I thought I slept till the next day. Oh, I love that kind of stuff. If I can help it. I asked I suspected that I was married to an INTJ. He never took the MBTI, but I just have a familiar, I guess, uniqueness with INTJs. And sometimes I don't want to be reminded. Usually Thursdays I'm burnt out by feeling everything. And August tells me that I should feel everything. I'm like, it's not like I could turn it off. Quora has been a greater outlet for me. It has. I love participating. I love learning through others and I love when other people create their own spaces and invite me to contribute. That's another INTJ I met, Benny. Uh, MBTI with Benny. I remember when he invited me. I was just so honored. Anyway, happy tears. Don't get all awkward on me. I shared something and I'll read it on camera. The differences between INTJ and INFJ. It's they're represented with the characters of Batman and Roz Al Ghul. I think that's how you pronounce it. It's Raz Al Ghul. Supposedly is the INFJ and Batman is the INTJ. Ra's al Ghul is a supervillain appearing in American comic books published by DC Comics, commonly as an adversary of the superhero Batman. Let's read. Then, how to tell the difference. Lots of people get into their heads that the sole difference between INTJs and INFJs is that the latter are sweet and kind, while the former are complete apathetic jerks. Unfortunately, this assumption is based on stereotypes and doesn't include the Jungian functions at all. In my experience, there are plenty of both types that defy the stereotype beyond reason, to the point that MBTI typers who go based on stereotypes are bound to get them wrong. The type of behavior can also be observed if you watch Sherlock. INXJs share two common functions, dominant NI and inferior SE. As a result, it is easy for the two types to relate to one another on many levels. Dominant NI. NI dominants are, it seems, the most likely to get existential depression as children. I had it. Ender Wiggin certainly had it, etc. The reason for this is that NI doms are rigged for pattern recognition and philosophical thinking. They will both be prone to existential crisis, aka frequent midlife crisis during childhood and youth that most people don't experience until they hit 40. Mostly because INXJs think too much. Both INTJs and INFJs are big picture, future oriented, but also have a narrow goal focus. Both are likely to be ambitious and are known for picking out career paths as very young children. They are likely to be disciplined and so focused on their goals that they often fall prey to the absent-minded professor syndrome, in which they forget to eat, wash, or take care of themselves because they're so focused on their goal. In the case that the INXJ doesn't have a grand life vision, and this does happen, the INXJ will likely be quite unhappy with their life and immature for an INXJ. The reason for this is that the life vision constitutes a major portion of INXJ's dominant function, and when a dominant function is neglected, the results tend to be negative. Take a look at Thomas Barrow from Downtown Abbey if you want a picture of what this looks like. INXJs are good at predicting the future intuitively and usually like to plan ahead to keep themselves safe from danger. Both are extremely good at strategizing because they notice patterns so easily and then form logical conclusions about those patterns. Inferior SE. I'm an INTJ and one of my roommates is an INFJ. Both of us notice immediately if any of our belongings get moved. whereas our two other SI using roommates never notice if their stuff gets moved. We both are incredibly aware of our environments and are more likely to sit down and watch a sunset than our SI roommates. We're also more coordinated than our SI roommates. I will often sit for hours working out a philosophical problem, and upon solving it, I will probably leap up and over furniture to get to the kitchen because I was so focused that I forget to feed myself. It seems to amuse my ENTP and ESFJ roommates quite a lot. I have also been known to dash for auto lock doors before they close because I didn't want to unlock them to go through. They like to call me an undercover ninja. My INFJ roommate has attained the reputation of undercover CIA agent. Both INTJs and INFJs will likely be visual learners and will either need to write things out or draw them to learn them properly. INFJs are prone to zoning out of reality for long periods of time, so they live a great deal in their heads when working out a complicated problem. I tend to be unaware of what's going on around me unless I'm specifically using my environment to solve the problem. If it's a hands-on problem that uses external evidence, then I'm readily tuned to details in my environment and ready to use them to my advantage. On the other hand, it is a theoretical problem that doesn't involve empiricals. I completely forget my physical environment exists. When I'm in the zone, I miss all kinds of crazy things, loud things even. Auxiliary function. This is the third function. We share NI and SE. IN, so IN. So F and T. This is what we're talking about. FE versus TE. Understanding of people. They both understand people extremely well, but they do so using slightly different function combinations. Both will use SE to observe people feeding their NI with fairly accurate ideas of people and situations before they can prove it. They tend to reach equally accurate conclusions, but differences lie in the auxiliary function. The INTJ will reason out logically, but a person thinks and feels using TE after the NISE does its magic, and will be able to accurately describe what a person feels and why they feel that way, aka speaker for the dead. Ender Wagon can accurately know pretty much everything there is to know about a person before being able to prove it, NISE, after which he hacks it into all their computers to prove his conclusions with actual evidence. On the other hand, you have INFJs such as the Eighth Doctor who can pinpoint equally accurate ideas of people, after which he does nothing to logically back up his conclusions. Don't be sad, Grace, he'll say, but have no evidence as to how he knows this. He's good at figuring out his enemy's motivations simply by being in the room with them. He simply observes SC and then simultaneously intuits and reads people's emotions. INFE. I have been accused of being a telepath before for knowing things about people that they had never spoken out loud. In times past, I considered myself a sort of speaker for the living because I would write tributes to different people that I heard others judging so that those people could be understood for who they were and not who they appeared to be on the surface. INTJs will be more organized, but strangely less able to keep a schedule than INFJs because the INFJ's FE will give them a greater desire to follow rules and keep social norms, such as not being late to class. INTJs will more likely prioritize their theoretical thought processes than their schedule. In my mind, a schedule translates to a trivial but stressful priority. Communication style. How long is this thing? Oh, you know what? I'm not going to read that whole thing. I'll leave, I'll leave it in the description. Ain't no time for that. Ain't nobody got time for that. Ain't nobody got time for that. Ain't nobody got time for that.